Tonight I'll be reviewing Labyrinth, starring David Bowie and Real Genius, in which two teenage prodigies are tricked into creating a war weapon. In addition, we have a report on the making of John Boorman's new film, Hope and Glory. Good evening. It's a fairly sure sign that Christmas is lurking round the corner when the big, elaborate family films come whooping out wearing paper hats and asking you to pull a cracker. And such a film, in intent anyway, is Labyrinth, a fairy tale created by Jim Henson, the man who makes the Muppets, written by Terry Jones, once of the Monty Python team, and starring David Bowie. It all sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And I wish I could say it was, but alas, honesty demands that instead of emulating Santa Claus, I have to go about in the guise of Scrooge muttering humbug. The story is as follows. Teenager Jennifer Connelly, much to her resentment, is left babysitting for her infant half-brother, and finding his wailing and puling less than intellectually stimulating, fervently wishes the goblins would take him. Never reluctant to oblige, the goblins promptly do so, greatly to the rapidly repentant Miss Connelly's dismay. Whereupon, enter the Goblin King, David Bowie, to explain that if she wants the kid back, she has 13 hours to find her way through a mysterious labyrinth and into the Goblin Castle.
You're him, aren't you? You're the Goblin King. I want my brother back, please, if it's all the same.
What's said is said.
But I didn't mean it.
Oh, you didn't?
Please, where is he?
You know very well where he is.
Please bring him back, please.
Sarah, go back to your room. Play with your toys and your costumes. Forget about the baby.
I can't.
I've brought you a gift.
What is it?
It's a crystal. Nothing more. But if you turn it this way, look into it, it'll show you your dreams. But this is not a gift for an ordinary girl who takes care of a screaming baby. Do you want it? Then forget the baby.
I can't. It is that I don't appreciate what you're trying to do for me, but I want my brother back. He must be so scared.
Sarah. Don't defy me. You're no match for me, Sarah.
Well, Miss Connelly embarks upon her journey, picking up on the way such companions as Hoggle, a gardening dwarf who occupies himself by killing fairies with an insecticide spray, Ludo, a sort of hairy and lugubrious relative of Chewbacca of Star Wars fame, and Sir Didymus, a kind of fox terrier at arms. Now, given all this and the fact that, fleetingly, the story is reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland and The Wizard of Oz, it still sounds pretty good. So why isn't it? Well, mostly because, except at odd moments, there's no sense of danger or dread, and here perhaps the casting of David Bowie is at fault. He's not remotely menacing, possibly because he looks androgynous enough to be crowned either King of the Goblins or Queen of the May, depending on where the vacancy lies. In his favour, though, I must admit that he refrains from singing too much, and I say this not because I have any aversion to Mr. Bowie singing, but because in this kind of film, the action stops every time the leading character clears his throat and delivers himself of a few well-chosen verses. And under Jim Henson's direction, Labyrinth is too slow already to allow for any built-in stoppages. On the credit side, Mr. Henson's goblins and other assorted creatures, though suffering overmuch from a touch of the cutes, are admirably done. Miss Connelly, too, is perfectly acceptable, despite the fact that, like most American teenagers, she seems too worldly and experienced to have much belief in fairies and goblins, unless they came at her with a chainsaw on Halloween.
I smell trouble. Come on, Mel. Oh, no! What is that?
Watch out! Hoggle!
I have to must say that I was a bit worried about the well-being of the baby, Toby Froud by name. On the general question of whether or not I like babies, I tend to go along with those who say it depends how they're cooked. But at times, this one looked genuinely distressed, and since I don't believe that babies are able to act distressed, I have to assume that it probably was. Otherwise, it seemed a decent sort of baby and would probably roast up a treat for Sunday lunch. As for the film, well, it is rather a disappointment, and that's a pity. It was obviously made with great care, but somewhere in the execution, something went amiss. One word of warning, there's just the occasional scene that might prove frightening for very small children, though who am I to say? In my experience, small children are about as easily scared as Al Capone. But now, for the first time, we bring you the National Top 10, and here they are, the most popular films not just in London, but all round the country. At 10, Psycho 3, Norman is normal, but Mother's round the bend. Number 9 is Aliens, one of the best shockers around at the moment. At 8, Big Trouble in Little China, a 2,000-year-old Chinaman looking for a girl with green eyes. Number 7 is Nightmare on Elm Street 2, more nasty work from Freddy. And 6 is Legal Eagles, Robert Redford and Deborah Winger playing lawyers in this comedy thriller. At 5, Extremities finds Farrah Fawcett taking revenge on a man who tried to rape her. And number 4, Mona Lisa. Bob Hoskins, quite magnificent as a petty thief who falls for a prostitute. At 3, there's Running Scared, Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal as a pair of streetwise cops in Chicago. 2 is Top Gun, with Tom cruising the airwaves and Kelly McGillis providing the romance. But the number 1 film is Ruthless People. Danny DeVito and Bette Midler become involved in blackmail and kidnapping. It's nice to see a British film, Mona Lisa, still doing well there after going the rounds for several weeks. But now let's get back to the new releases and specifically Eat the Peach, a pleasant, low-budget Irish picture about 2 ordinary men who seek to do something extraordinary. Stephen Brennan and Eamon Morrissey are brothers-in-law, made redundant and frustrated when the local Japanese electronics factory closes down. One day in the pub they see a video of roustabout in which Elvis Presley rides a wall of death in a fairground, and Mr. Brennan conceives the idea of building a wall of death in his own backyard.
A what? Vinny, we're going to build a what?
A wall of death.
A wall of what?
Death.
Death? But Vinny...
Look, Arthur, I'm trying to think, and you're being no help to me.
Arthur, what's going on?
I don't know.
Arthur.
I don't know.
Vinny, are you crazy?
Yeah.
That's all right then, because we always knew he was crazy. Look, you can build whatever you want as long as you don't touch my garden.
Vinny.
Centrifugal.
What?
Tests.
What?
Centrifugal tests. Great, thanks, love. Now, you go and sit over there, okay?
This is ridiculous. Are you sure this is going to work?
I just need to know the weight. Shout when it reaches 2 pounds.
That's 1 kilogram. We've gone metric, Professor. Haven't you heard?
What's it read?
600!
Can you read it?
700! Oh, Jesus, save.
What? What's that?
2 pounds! Oh, we've reached 2 pounds!
Well, to raise the money for this enterprise, the 2 men smuggled petrol and booze from Northern Ireland into the Republic on behalf of a racketeer, Joe Lynch, and his pseudo-American would-be mobster sidekick, Neil Tobin. All this and the effect on Mr. Brennan's wife, Catherine Byrne, of his obsession with the Wall of Death gives plenty of scope for gentle humour. And gentle humour is what the film provides. It's based on a true story about a man who did in fact build a Wall of Death miles from anywhere in Ireland, a gloriously daft and impractical thing to undertake. But what that man did, like the characters in the film, was to eat the peach, a title which, incidentally, is never explained but comes from a poem by T.S. Eliot and means, in effect, go for it. An unusual little film, neatly made and nicely played, which in its quiet way has thoughtful things to say about human aspirations and people's refusal to let life grind them down. Well, now to our location report on the making of John Boorman's Hope and Glory. Mr. Boorman is a versatile director whose works range from thrillers like Point Blank to grim backwards adventure stories such as Deliverance and the recent and successful Emerald Forest, which was set in the jungle of South America. Hope and Glory is very different from any of these. It's a largely autobiographical tale about Mr. Boorman and his family during World War II in Surrey. The film itself is an early beneficiary of David Putnam's reign at Columbia Pictures because Mr. Putnam agreed to back it when it ran into financial difficulties. Film 86 visited John Boorman during the filming of scenes which were set on the street where he grew up.
It's the war very much as I remembered it as a child, and I was 6 when the war started. And I remember it as a very exciting and joyous, exhilarating period, for the most part. I mean, there were scary moments, but mostly it was marvellous, and it was very liberating, not only for children, but for everybody. People living in these narrow lives, in these narrow streets, were somehow set free by the war.
Although you could easily mistake this for a real street, it has in fact been built from scratch on a disused airstrip in Surrey. But why go to such lengths?
We can design it in such a way that you have beyond, you see the skyline of London with the barrage balloons over it. So it gives it a kind of epic feeling, so that the street is a kind of microcosm of the war. It's all contained in here, much of it is. Of course, if we were to shoot on location, I think people would object to having their houses bombed and burnt and destroyed and Spitfires crashing into their living rooms, you know. So we built it at vast expense. I mean, it cost much more for us to build this set, which is just facades, than it cost to build these houses originally, because they used to sell for about £600 each, and this set cost us about 600,000.
What's all the noise? There are people trying to sleep up here.
Mr. Boorman has 2 sisters. Sammy Davis plays the elder, Dawn. Sebastian Rice-Edwards plays John as a 6-year-old, and his younger sister is played by Geraldine Muir, with whom John Boorman has a very special actor-director relationship.
Stand here. Now then, Geraldine. Put your hand like that. Spread your fingers. She's a perfect actress. She just does exactly what I tell her, don't you?
Can you tell me what's happening here today that we're seeing? This noise in the background.
It's when the planes are coming over and they all want to see Charlie coming down on the parachute.
By Charlie, Geraldine means Charlie Boorman, John's son, who was last seen in the Emerald Forest. He plays a German pilot who parachutes into the community. That wasn't actually him doing it, of course, although he did agree to have a go later for the close-up shot.
Take him by the arm. The dialogue is on the other shot. Take him out. And you go back a little bit. You're nervous as he comes towards you. Ease back a little bit. Stare at everyone looking at him. Oh, look, react to that.
The eldest Boorman daughter, Katrina, is also in the film, playing her own great aunt. Mr. Boorman employs another daughter, Telcher, to work as his assistant. And in fact, Charlie's twin Daisy is the only one not involved.
Daisy doesn't like the film industry. She thinks they're all swines. And I wouldn't blame them, really. We are, really.
No, she finds it boring.
Yeah, she finds it boring.
If you're not directly involved and you haven't got a really good part or something, you hang around for hours and hours.
But do the Boorman children face much criticism for being cast by their own father?
I got a little bit of people would write in the press that it was nepotism that was cast.
Absolute nepotism.
And I just keep saying
We're all
I'm cheap.
for it in our
well.
family.
If you have a contact in something which you want to do, well then one should use it, and I mean anybody should do it. I mean it doesn't have to be in films or anything.
Everybody enter this time to stand by.
Well, you know the position, sir. Yeah. Hand on that. Just got to tighten up the cars. Okay, yeah.
Well, Charlie Boorman's family contacts allowed him to land a part involving this stunt, parachuting 100 feet from a crane and proving, as the anti-nepotists in Hollywood used to say, well, what's wrong with nepotism? It's what keeps families going. Now, Real Genius is one of those teenage comedies that depends desperately on the complicity of the audience, since what it needs is for the audience to pretend that it doesn't know or doesn't care, that the whole premise is damn stupid. William Atherton plays a professor and recruiting officer for a high-tech American college which offers places only to young geniuses. Such a young genius, so we're told, is Gabe Jarrett, a 15-year-old science prodigy. Another and slightly older specimen is Val Kilmer, recently seen as Iceman in Top Gun, who takes Master Jarrett under his wing. A third genius is Michelle Mayrink, whose mind and tongue suffer from verbal diarrhea and who takes a shine to Master Jarrett.
Oh, hi, good morning. I thought I saw you come in here. We met last night, remember? I had the sled with me. I'm Jordan. Oh, here, I made you a sweater.
Last night?
Yeah, it's just something I do with my hands. I hope I got the size right. I'm pretty sure I did. I have a brother, and I use him for a sizing comparison. And I have a pretty good eye for that sort of thing, so I just went ahead and made you one because, you know, I was up. Are you peeing?
Yeah.
Oh, I never sleep. I don't know why. I had a roommate, and I drove her nuts. I mean, really nuts. They had to take her away in an ambulance and everything. But she's okay now, but she had to transfer to an easier school. But I don't know if that had anything to do with being my fault. But listen, if you ever need to talk, you need help studying, just let me know, because I'm just a couple doors down from you guys, and I never sleep, okay?
Thanks, I will.
Are you done?
I can't start.
Because I'm here?
I think so.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, I have to go.
Me too. Bye.
Now, these people we're led to believe are among the sharpest young brains in the United States, though their conversation and behaviour are such as to cause any disinterested onlooker to worry fiercely about America's intellectual future. In any event, they've all been conned by Mr. Atherton, who's using their precocious intellect to develop a frightening and lethal weapon for the US Air Force. Well, now, the strain of being a young genius tells on some of the students, and Mr. Kilmer eases the pressure by doing nothing much except organise a series of asinine pranks for his fellows. While all that's going on, Mr. Atherton is ripping off the Air Force funds, and naturally his young exploited geniuses are slow to catch on to the fact that they are being exploited. When they do, they plot the sort of revenge you might expect the inmates of Police Academy to come up with. I mention that advisedly because the script of Real Genius was written in part by the same people who wrote Police Academy, a film whose characters seem to be possessed of IQs that had trouble limping into double figures. The comedy, therefore, is extremely broad, not to say juvenile, and only Martha Coolidge's nimble direction and Vilmos Zsigmond's cinematography stop the whole thing grinding dismally to a halt about halfway through. And now for our weekly roundup of... Tonight, a story to warm the cockles of your heart, or if you're not a generous kind of person, to turn you green with envy. She's Gotta Have It is an American film that was shot in black and white in 15 days for a total cost of around £100,000. The sort of film, in short, that far from drawing an audience would, you might expect, have difficulty in getting itself arrested. And yet, as Tom Brooke now reports, it's found a most surprising following.
Give me some more meat, Ma. This is the first Thanksgiving I've ever cooked.
She's Got to Have It is about a woman called Nola Darling. Independent and promiscuous, she plays the rules differently, having not just one boyfriend, but three. And they all know one another. There's Jamie, a relatively tranquil character, Greer, who's rather arrogant, and Mars, played by Spike Lee.
Nola, why didn't you tell me?
You didn't have to bring anything.
It's okay?
It's okay.
It's okay?
It's okay.
I didn't bring nothing.
You're fine.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nola, did I ever tell you about the time I met Jesse Jackson?
Spike Lee not only acted in the film, but wrote and directed it too. Working just across the river from Manhattan in a Brooklyn loft, the atmosphere was quite unlike Hollywood. Spending just a little over £100,000 and using unknown actors in 12 days, Spike Lee produced a hit.
That's the only way this film could have gotten made. If I'd have went to a studio, first of all, they would have thought I was a messenger.
He plays an unemployed messenger in the film, which offers a rare depiction of life in black America, quite different from the usual Hollywood product, which hardly ever uses an all-black cast.
It's the first time I've seen black people having a life of their own up on screen, and they're middle class, they're lower class, but I mean, it's like they're existing as a whole instead of serving trays at somebody's party.
It's not that I'm a racist or a separatist, anything like that. There are no black films being made. And this film was basically for a black movie-going audience. And we make a substantial amount of the movie-going audience. There are no films being made. This is not to exclude anybody else. But I think the success of this film shows that, a type of this film was needed.
Spike Lee's movie was a family project. His brother took the still photos, His sister had an acting part, so did his father, an accomplished musician who also wrote the score. At best, it was hoped that the film might have limited art house appeal, but now it's playing in 50 American cities, and so far it's grossed more than £3.5 million at the box office, which for an independent film is big money.
There's an axiom in Hollywood that's accepted that black is death at the box office, unless you have Eddie Murphy or Richard Pryor. We had neither.
Although the film is a hit, the leading lady is still working as a cloakroom attendant at a New York nightclub. And while he has £3 million for his next picture, Spike Lee still signs autographs outside the theatre.
But I'm taking this all in stride, and I'm still in the phone book.
Spike Lee is already working on his next picture, having proved wrong all those who say you can't make a hit film in America these days without doing it the Hollywood way.
Action. Spike Lee.
Nice, encouraging story, that one. Well, now, of course, the saddest news of the week was that Cary Grant had died. True, he was 82 years old and he hadn't acted for 20 years, but I felt a sharp pang of sadness when I heard of his death. Not only was he one of the few remaining links with the golden age of Hollywood in the 1930s and 40s, but he was incomparably the greatest movie star Britain has ever produced. Yes, I know it was America that gave him his opportunity and his fame, but he was born Alexander Archibald Leach in Bristol, and he never really lost his English accent. As an actor, he knew his limitations, stayed within them, and exploited them to their utmost, so that he had no equal anywhere in light comedy or sophisticated thrillers. Besides, in everybody's list of their 20 or so favourite films, there's surely at least one that stars Cary Grant, whether it be She Done Him Wrong, in which Mae West memorably invited him to come up and see her sometime, or Hitchcock's North by Northwest, or that glorious Howard Hawks comedy, Bringing Up Baby.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm trying to unpark my car. Oh, hello.
This is my car.
Oh, good. Then would you mind moving it out of the way?
No, this is my car.
Yes, I understand that. If you move it back about 4 feet, well, I'll be able to get out.
Well, I'm afraid you made a mistake. Maybe this is your... What did you say?
I said, if you move it back about 4 feet, I'll be able to get out. I'm in a terrible hurry and I can't budge.
Oh, you want me to move your car?
Would you mind terribly?
Well, yes, I will, but...
Oh, that'd be awfully kind of you.
Well, take it very easy with that car.
Yes, I'll go slowly.
No. What are you doing?
Well, I have to get into position.
Well, please be careful.
I will. Now, you say when?
Yes, all right.
Am I clear?
Yes, you're clear now.
Clear?
You ready? Yes.
Oh,
Go ahead. Oh! Now, look what you've done.
Oh, that's all right. I'm insured.
Well, I don't care whether you're insured or not. Look, let me drive this car.
Oh, it's all right. It's an old wreck anyway.
But-
It doesn't matter.
Well, you don't understand. This is my car.
You mean this is your car?
Of course.
Your golf ball, your car? Is there anything in the world that doesn't belong to you?
Yes, thank heaven, you.
Well, to that picture, as to everything he did, Cary Grant brought charm, elegance, the gift of perfect timing, and an appearance on which the passing years seem to have no discussion.